Hello, if you're just joining us, we'll just give this a few minutes to get going. Oops. Sorry, just swapping out a chair. I realised I was on the silly chair. Thought I had everything organised. So hello, it's Melinda from Scrapbooking coming on with our delayed live today. Let me see if... Sorry, just reading one of the comments on my phone on my Facebook page. So pop a comment in if you're here. Hi Elizabeth, how you going? Just getting set up, just making sure I am live. Well, obviously if I've got comments, I'm live, aren't I? I don't know. I sat down to do this at 1 o'clock and two of my neighbours decided it was a great time to mow the lawns. Either side neighbour. I don't know. 5 minutes after I postponed the live and put up that I'll do it at 2 o'clock, it went silent. I go, oh, okay. Hi, Carol, how are you going? So I thought, oh, okay, I'll give until 2 o'clock. 5 to 2, one side of the neighbour starts mowing again or whippersnipping or something. Oh, I can't win lately. I've decided I'm not making plans anymore because inevitably something happens. Life, family, business, neighbours. I don't know. So I just thought I'd pop on quickly today and do a... yes, Elizabeth, I am good. I'm a bit tired, but I'm always tired. Between running a business, looking after 2 bunnies, and a nearly teenage daughter with special needs, it's a calamity of errors at my house, which means not much sleep. But that's all right. I thought children are supposed to sleep through the night when they grow up. That's all right. Who needs sleep? It's overrated. So apart from being a bit sleep deprived, I am good. So I just thought I would come on and do a small demo today. I was wondering what to do. Couldn't think of anything. So a few things were hanging around my desk from previous projects. So I thought let's just combine all that together and let's make something. So what I'm going to do is show you how to make these 2 cute cards. And this is using one of our sets of new chipboard. These coming out. These sets are our cameo sets. So we've got our fancy frame, our inside with the person missing, and then our person. These are currently on our website in white mixed media cardstock only. Okay, I just found new lives today. I'm trying to do something regular on a Thursday, even though a Thursday is an interesting day for me. It's usually when I have to get my daughter up and ready and out of bed and off to her dad's, but we will get there. He's not due for an hour, so I'll be done by then. And then I can get child ready to go out the door. So trying to do something more regular between the Craft Alive events that I usually do lives for. But yeah, organising is not a good word in my house. So I thought we'd play around with these cameo sets. So as I was saying, these are on the website in white mixed media cardstock at the moment. Hi Tabitha, how you going? These are to be loaded for October. I just haven't got there yet. They are available to purchase, so if you are interested in these sets, just let me know and we can organise an order before I get them up on the website. I've got a huge pile of chipboard to go up on my website for October. It's October today and it's not there yet. So these frames actually measure approximately 12 centimetres in height. That's the largest frame. And then the girls are, or we've got an old girl and a younger girl, about 5.5 centimetres in height. So you can get it either in the young girl set with the big ponytail, which I've used on this set of cards, or you can get it in the more old-fashioned girl with the bun in her hair. And we're just going to make 2 quick cards. Just wanted to show you different ways to use them and a few different techniques as well. I will put the premise out there, I'm not the most confident card maker. I struggle with little things. Give me a big art journal page or a scrapbook page and I'm happy. Give me little things like this and I don't know, they cause me to freak out and concern, and I just don't know what to do with them, I think. I don't know what it is with little stuff. I'm trying to be better this year. I can't say I'm not a card maker because all my friends tell me I am. I then say I'm not a confident card maker. So when you get the chipboard pieces, they obviously come in 3 pieces, so you can colour them differently and they will sit back into a set of 3. Why isn't that one going back? Probably because the frame's upside down. They should fit exactly back into the set because they come out of a set. So you can use them as the one piece, so we can colour them and use them all together, but I like to use them separately and get more pieces out of my project. So we're going to do this one first. So I've just used some craft card bases. So I've got a craft card base cut, then I've got a black matting piece cut, which is just normal black cardstock. I cut all these so you wouldn't have to struggle and see me cut paper, because that's not, I can measure it 10 times and cut it and it's still wrong. So this one here, this panel is actually a piece of the craft cardstock, and we're going to do some embossing. It's not that one. I've cut these down to size so I know which ones. Hang on. No, I haven't cut the craft ones. That's all right. I was trying not to get the wrong piece. So this one I've done some stenciling in the background with one of the stencils on my website. Tabitha, you keep making cards, so you're a card maker. I'm not going to admit I'm a card maker, Tabitha. I'm always going to say, my wording is now, I'm not a confident card maker. So we're going to use the diamond stencil, and I'm going to use some, just trying to find it, Distress Glaze. So we're going to use two different products today that are heat embossing powders. This one is, I'm trying to find the name of it, Fired Brick. Oh, it's a new one out. I got a whole bunch of these. From Hillbilly Scrapping, she has all of these in stock. So the Distress Glaze, if you've never heard of it before, Distress Embossing Glaze, when it says glaze, it means transparent. So usually embossing powders, for example, this one, I don't even know what brand it is. This is an opaque one. So I've used two here. I've used the Tim Holtz Distressing Glaze in the background. And when we put the glaze on, this is a bit deeper colour, but usually you can see through, excuse me, you can see through the glaze to what colour is underneath. So depending on what colour you put it on, you'll get a slightly different look. So the glazes are fun to play around with. This one here is a copper, and I've done that on the person, and it's an opaque glaze, so you can't see through it. So you can see sort of the two different colours. So to apply embossing powders, if you've never done that before, you can use an embossing ink pad like a Versacolor, what is it? Versamark, that's the word of it, Versamark ink pad. You can use glue, you can use double-sided tape. Basically, you've got to stick the little granules of powder onto your project while you heat it up. So today, to put it through the stencil, I'm actually going to use some matte medium. When you use the matte medium, because it's more of a liquid, when you heat it up, you get more of a bubbly effect. So I've used the matte medium on the person as well, and it's quite bubbly and bumpy. Not sure whether you're going to see the bubbles and bumps. Well, it's getting quite windy outside, and things are going to bang around. All we've got to have is rain now. I put all my washing out in the line today, and I'm hopefully to get off before it rains. Inevitably, I put the washing out and it rains. What was I saying? Oh, when I'm using the matte gel medium, because it's more of a liquid, it will bubble up a lot more than using an ink pad. But I thought that gives it a really cool effect as well. So all I'm going to do is stencil. Just got some A4 sheets of paper here, so I can tip my embossing powder on and then tip it back into the container. So I'm just getting rid of one of those, so I don't get matte gel medium over the top of it. So I'm just going to use my stamping block as my palette, because I didn't grab a palette before I sat down. I just had a small bit of a sponge. It's behind my matte gel medium. I lose things on my desk all the time. So matte gel medium is obviously matte when it dries, and you can either add it to paint to thin out your paint and make it sort of like a glaze, or you can use it to stick down tissue paper and paper napkins and all that sort of fun stuff. So it's like a thin liquid glue. You could use PVA glue, you could use matte, this is matte medium, so it's thinner. You could use matte gel medium. You can basically, I could use a glue stick to do this. The matte medium was on my desk, so I decided to use it. So I've just got a makeup sponge here, so I'm just tapping off so I don't have much on my makeup sponge. Because my stencil is quite fine in its lines, I don't want this matte medium to goop up underneath the stencil. So I've loaded up my sponge and just tapping off a little, so I've got a little bit on my sponge. I want this to be quite distressed, so I'm not being perfect. I don't mind if I don't fill in the entire diamonds. You have to work fairly quick, because you don't want this glue to dry, the matte medium to dry. And I may do this twice, and you don't want that to happen. You don't want your card to move. Okay, I'm going to heat that up because I can't line it back up. I will be able to in a minute. You can tape your page down or tape your card down. So now I've got matte gel medium on that. Going to bring a clean sheet of A4 paper in so I can just tip my embossing powder back into my jar. So while this is wet, I'm just going to tip this all over my card. Don't worry, we're not wasting all this. We're going to tip 99% of this off, and it's going to go back in our jar. So if you've never heat embossed before, this is one way of doing it. So I'm just going to tap off the excess. So we've got the little granules have stuck to the card. So let me just put this back in the jar before I go and spill it everywhere. I've already got it onto that sheet, which I don't want because it's got glue on it. So when I'm heat embossing, I like to have one sheet of A4 paper for tipping my embossing powders on, and one for either inking or gluing on, so I don't get my powders stuck to where I don't want them. Now all these little granules, so the embossing powder is little small granules. We're going to heat them up, and then it's going to come like a glaze. Where'd my sample go? That's up there. So I've got a quiet heat tool, so this will take a little bit longer than a normal heat tool because it's a quieter and it's a lower heat one. So we're just going to heat up off to the side for about 30 seconds. Then you want to heat a little bit by a little bit and just keep moving across your card. I'm not sure whether you're going to see it. I'm going to pick it up. Picking it up makes it emboss. A piece of paper wants to fly away. Picking it up makes the embossing go quicker. So that bit just under the heat tool is starting to turn. You'll see it turn from sort of all little powders to a shiny glaze. So it does have a bit of shine onto it. Oh, it's getting a bit hot near my fingers. And picking your card up to heat up your embossing, I found out, is a lot quicker than having it on the desk. Avoid putting your fingers into the hot glaze. Should have grabbed some tweezers so I can pick up a bit of paper. I'm going to rest it up here. I'm just getting too close to my fingers. That doesn't take long. Just want to make sure all the little pieces of powder are melted. Last little bit to go. This one is a lower heat embossing tool than like the long ones. I sometimes put the heat on the back of the paper too. Oh, that works. That would work well, and it wouldn't make your granules fly away, Carol. I have to try heating from the bottom. So you can now see that it's all sort of shiny. What I can do is you give that about 30 seconds to a minute to cool down. You can almost touch it now. If you stick your fingers straight in it when it melts, it can burn your fingers. So I haven't got a lot of my design on there, so what I can do is actually go over the top of it, line my stencil up again. That's why I heated that bit up, because I'll be able to easily line my stencil up now. And I can go and add some more. So I could add a second colour. Ooh, let's actually do that. Where's my second colour? I had a second colour around. I don't know where it is now. No, I've cleaned up and moved it. We're going to do the same colour. So I could definitely go in with a second colour, but let's go in with the same colour again. I'm trying to be good, and once I've used all my stuff, is put it away off my desk. Otherwise my desk gets really covered. So I'm just going to line my stencil up again. and put some more matte gel medium in the bits that don't have a lot of the powders. Bearing in mind I'm going to cover up most of the inside of the card, so I'm not worrying about the middle. I'm sort of wanting to get it a bit more on the edge. Definitely want these bits down here. So the great thing is you can keep adding more. You can keep lining your stencil up. As I said, I could have done a second colour if I didn't move my colour off the table. I was trying to be good and neat so I can find everything. So obviously the more gel medium you put on, or the wetter it is, the more powders it'll catch. But that looks like that'll give us a good coverage. As I said, I don't want it to be 100% covered. I sort of want that distressed old look. Tipping that back into my jar. Might try heat from underneath. We'll see what that might. You might be able to see it then. Oh, that's cool. Here, I've never heated it from beneath. That's really cool. I learn something new every day. That's really good. You can see it a bit more. So it doesn't take long, and as you can see, I'm keeping the heat tool in the same sort of spot. I'm not waving it. I'll just turn it off for a minute. I'm not doing this really quickly. When you're heat embossing, you want to move fairly slowly, so you're heating each section enough to melt it. Getting close to those fingers again. I can feel the heat. So it doesn't matter that I've heated that twice. That first lot of embossing powder will still sit there. It'll heat up a little again, but it won't completely, like heating it up a second time won't affect the use of it. So this one's not, this embossing powder, the glaze, is shiny. If you don't like the shine on it, I've heard Tim Holtz take some steel wool and just brush off the shine, and you can take the reflectiveness off it. Hello, Alexis. My daughter's just come into the room.
Are you sticking the card together?
No, I've only just made the background yet. Does everyone want to say hi to Alexis?
So you're already making it?
I'm already started. You can sit down and do my comments if you like. So we are going. No, you're not going to sit down and do comments. So I'm going to take the middle person. No? Oh, typical teenager. Can't get them to work. She's gone to raid the fridge. So I'm going to just tap over the top. I could use an embossing, as I said, an embossing ink pad, or basically anything that is wet to stick my embossing powder on with. This time I'm going to use the, it's a bronze colour. I don't know what brand it is. It's a quite old one I found in my stash. Trying to use up older stuff and be good and not buy good new stuff. But I couldn't wait to buy some of the new glazes. People have said hello, Alexis. Oh, she's gone back into her room.
Hi, everyone.
Oh, I don't know whether you heard that, but she come back and said hi, everyone. Sometimes Alexis will say, oh, no, I spilt embossing powder. Will sit here and read the comments off for me. Sometimes she won't. Anyone with teenagers knows what that's like. Sometimes they'll do what you ask, sometimes they won't. So this embossing powder is a opaque embossing powder. So I don't have to put anything on the chipboard beforehand. I can just put the embossing powder on top. If I was to use the distressed glaze, I won't get the true colour of the glaze on the chipboard. I would have to coat it with a white gesso or a white acrylic paint to start with, then put the glaze on top, because the glaze will, the colour of the raw chipboard will not let the glaze's full colour show up, if that makes sense. clear as mud, right? This one I'm not going to pick up because it's too small. Burn my fingers. So I purposely overheated this one a little because I wanted the bubbly effect, and it will do that a little anyway because of the water in the matte gel medium. Usually this one will flatten out really nicely and you get a really slick look, but using the matte gel medium and overcooking it, you get this really nice bubbly effect. You've come back, Alexis. Are you after your computer?
Dad texts me. It's now 2:40.
Oh, Dad texts you it's now 2:40. That's okay. What time is it now?
2:20.
Okay, cool. That's right. So this particular frame here, I'm just going to put some black ink on. Could be black paint, could be any sort of ink, any sort of colour. When you're using the chipboard, if you're using an opaque colour or a really dark colour, you can go straight on the chipboard like I am. If you're using a light colour, I would give it again a coat of gesso, just so that light colour shows up. Light colours tend to soak into the chipboard very well. So now we've got our frame and our person. What else do we need? Oh, we need to cut.
The person's pretty.
The person is pretty. It's nice and bumpy. Because
I like this one.
You like that one? I will do that one in a minute. So now I'm going to do a shadow for my piece of chipboard, this black circle underneath. I like to shadow some of my chipboard pieces. It just, especially, we were looking at this piece before, and actually if I do this, I was going to say, I've got the pieces, I can show you.
What does top fan mean?
Oh, top fan means a person that's commented lots on my website. Is that Tabitha?
Yeah.
She comments all the time on my
Top fan
Facebook
plus
page.
one.
Top fan plus one? Oh, I don't know what the plus one means. So if I was to make my card like this, the person in the background are too close in tone and they sort of get lost. So an easy way to do a shadow for the chipboard is I'll grab a pen. Can you pass me the pen, please? With this particular one, I wouldn't do a shadow around the edge because it is too difficult to cut out, so I'm going to cheat. And I'm going to trace around the middle. So I'm working on the back of a piece of black cardstock. I'm going to put a big cross in the middle of it so I know the right way and the wrong way to stick it on. So this circle here, you probably can't see the pen.
I guess I'm special.
Tabitha, you are. I don't know what the plus one means. I've seen the top fan before.
What does IMAO mean?
IMAO. It's I'm something out loud. I'm laughing out loud. Laughing, I don't know. Tabitha, what's IMAO mean?
Laughing out loud is LOL.
I don't know. Tabitha might write that means. I'd have to Google it. I'm not quite up with the abbreviations, so I don't know whether you can see. I've done it with a pen, but
I can see it.
You can see it. I've basically done the inside. So if I cut on this line, it's going to just sit inside the frame. So I'm just going to cut. Let's throw my scissors on the table. I'm going to cut just outside the line by just probably a couple of mil. Doesn't matter that my oval, and I'll excuse my head if it gets into shot.
But it just says L.
L?
She only did the letter L.
Ah. I don't know, I have to Google what that means. So it doesn't matter that my oval is not exactly an oval because when I place it on my page, the little frame here is going to actually cover up and it looks quite perfect. So now we're going to, so when we stick that on here and stick that on here,
the
looks a
I
lot better.
means L. Laughing my something off.
Oh yeah, we can't say that live on television. I'll tell you what that blanked out word means later.
Card's pretty.
I'll put it this way, it says laughing my bottom off, but it's not that word. Okay, I'm just going to trim this card down a little and you're going to watch my bad trimming skills. Oh, paper trimmer's upside down to start with. That's always a good look. I'm just going to measure this one because then I can cut it to the same size and it will work hopefully. So I'm just going to measure the diamond one we just made. It is 3.5 by. You going to remember this, Alexis?
I'm going to do centimeters.
3.5 by 5. No, because I've got bigger numbers on here. So I'm just going to cut. Just going to cut the top bit off. So I need 5 inches this way.
Elizabeth Davy replied to Tabitha, I was just going to Google that, not up on that stuff.
3.5, and take a little bit off each side. So,
unless the top, yeah. He's a top fan as well.
Yes, you get a top fan when you comment on lots of my posts on Facebook.
Does Tabitha comment more than Elizabeth?
I don't know.
Well, I'd say +1 means like in a game VIP levels like bronze, silver.
Ah.
So since she's probably commented more, she probably gets the +1 in front of top fan.
Oh, Facebook keep changing things. So I've got a card base. This is going to be mounted on a card one day. Everything gets one day. So this is just a normal A4 sheet of paper, folded in half and cut in half, whatever that measurement is. And then all these are a 1/4 of an inch smaller, 1/8 of an inch smaller. A little bit smaller. See, I can't do this. I need to go buy those dies, Tabitha. The ones that cut beautiful layers. I think that's why I don't like card making.
Or dies as in cutting?
No, die so I can have a metal die that cuts the black layer and this layer and that layer on a card so they're all nice and pretty and measured so I don't have to cut them. Wouldn't that be a good idea?
Isn't there a thing you can put in your cutter that makes the edges all fancy?
Yeah, no, it'll be straight but it'll be the same size, Alexis.
Oh.
Because I can't measure and cut things and I forgot to get a rubbish bin. So I'm just sticking my black layer on my card and then we're going to... Uh-oh.
Good logic about +1, Alexis. I think you might be right.
Ah. Don't you love it when teenagers, or nearly a teenager, are smarter than us oldies?
It just reminded me of the game I was playing. On one of the games you get different levels of VIP. You have to pay it. I never get VIP. VIP 1, VIP 2.
This is why I don't like card making. I can't line things up. Blame it on my low vision.
Use a roller.
That's right. It's close enough.
What you said about my clay making.
What?
Or I read somewhere.
What did you say about
imperfections just make it more...
Imperfections make it more handmade?
Yeah, more detailed.
There's lots of imperfections in my card making. You have to scroll. I don't know why the comments don't come up.
Yes, I love the paper rose dies. Also, the new Tim Holtz trimmer I got is amazing. LOL. There's centimeters and inches to smoothest.
I'll have to look into the Tim Holtz trimmer. The one I've got is American Crafts from Spotlight, but I don't believe you can get blades for it anymore. And once I run out of blades...
You're going to have to replace the cutter thing, then get new blades?
Yes. So I'm going to put my oval that I've cut in the middle of my card and just line it up. Where'd my frame go? Oh.
I think Tabitha is referring to the top fan +1.
Yes.
He says, Facebook is saying I talk too much.
I'd never say that, Tabitha. You talk too much. Okay. So I'm going to glue down my circle first, if I find my glue.
Yeah, we're happy for your comments.
Yes, we are happy for your
It makes
comments.
lives much more interesting.
It is when you're talking to someone. If I'm sitting here talking to myself, it's a bit boring. So I'm just going to use Helmar 450 glue. Probably for the paper it's a bit of an overkill, but because we're sticking it on the shiny embossing powder, the only thing I hate about this glue is when it gets a little low, it has to get to the tip.
What it is.
What? You can click on +1, can you? Or the top fan. What?
Wait.
Nope.
Okay.
She's touching stuff. She's touching stuff on the computer.
I noticed this before. Elizabeth Davy plus and happy face.
Ah, that means Elizabeth liked Tabitha's comment, so we can go in like comments. And
Oops.
Can you not?
Badges.
Can you not press things on the live?
Sorry. Top fan. This badge helps you stand out out to the page and others. Become a top fan by being one of the page's most active people.
So I'm just putting a bit of the 450 glue on the thickest parts of the chipboard. I don't have to glue every part down. This glue is a bit stringy, so what I'm doing is just touching the stringy bits if I've got any with my finger, and it will take them off. Now I'm going to stick this down. Are you watching have you got your phone for Dad? Are you watching the clock for Dad?
I'm watching the clock. My phone's in my room charging.
Oh, okay. So I'm just going to glue the girl down.
And somehow the charger got disconnected from the PowerPoint and it was on 10%.
Oh. Yeah, it does help when your charger's connected to the PowerPoint to get charge on your phone. I've done that as well.
She's
So
not
just
tired. She's flopped.
Alexis is talking about her bunnies. It's their sleepy time during the day. So I've just popped that together, and that looks really, really cute, I think. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use sort of almost the waist bit, but I do include it in the kits because you can put this to good use as well. So we are going to make a little card like this, which looks cute.
We have ants.
Thanks, Alexis. Everyone in Australia needs to know we have ants.
Sorry, we're having trouble playing this video. You didn't see
Oh.
the screen. I didn't do anything.
Oh, we lost the live. Hang on.
Okay, I apologize if my clicking the thing caused that, but I don't think so. So it's just alive. Just
Oh.
the image is frozen.
I think we're still live. Pop up a comment if we're still live, because it just said it had trouble playing the video, which means
Is there a new comment?
I don't know. Hey, what to do?
Interaction on posts and videos is good to help get new people to look at your
Pages and videos. Pop a comment up if you're still watching. I think we're still live. I still see you and hear you.
Changing?
That's my hand. Yes.
Oh.
Sorry about that. It popped up on the screen and said we can't play this video, so I thought we might have lost.
We're having trouble sending the video.
Yeah, I don't know. Facebook's funny. Cut me off after 45 minutes last week. I must have talked for too long. If you can,
Out of the way, so.
if you can hear water pouring in the background, Alexis is using my good water out of my cold bottle in the fridge to give her bunnies some water. I don't know.
Elizabeth Baby says you are still live. Carolyn Robertson says still live. I can't see anymore.
Oh, I'm glad I'm still alive and not dead. So just adding some. Facebook's funny lately. Sometimes it just cuts you off for no reason. So just added some more matte gel medium to that person, to the waisty bit. And we're just going to add some embossing powder over the top of that. Let's get this page so I don't put glue over everything.
Okay, I'm going to go check my phone since it's
Okay, go check on your phone.
2:33.
Okay. So again, I want to heat this one up to be a bit more bubbly, because I just think that adds to the effect. So I think I might have missed a bit, but that's all right. If you do miss a bit, you can, like with stencil, heat this up and then add some more matte gel medium in the little spots. I've missed a little spot down here and a little spot over here, but as it melts, it might actually cover that up. We'll see. Put this back in the jar. Whoops. I'm all thumbs today. I'm dropping everything. So we're just going to heat this one up. Last time we're going to use the heat tool. Thinking about it, the chipboard does take a bit longer because it's thicker for the heat to penetrate. If you're heating out too much, you can actually hear a few little crackles. Oh, hot. And if you don't want the sort of bubbly effect, if you're hearing those crackles, stop. and you'll get more of a smoother effect. But today I liked the crackly bubbles.
Dad is 1 minute away.
Dad is 1 minute away, so you're welcome to wait outside if you like.
Where's my boots?
Your boots. Your boots. Well, probably in your room where you took them off. Children that can't find shoes, I don't know. So on the base of this one, I had some washi tape hanging around my desk from a previous project, and I decided to do some layering of some washi tape. Seeing Alexis left the room, I'll admit I have a couple of rolls of washi tape. Alexis will tell porcupines and tell you that I've got hundreds. I may have hundreds. If you don't have washi tape, you could do this with pattern paper. You could use one solid piece of pattern paper. So what I'm going to do is, this is a card base and it's too big anyway. It's going to be cut down so I can layer it up, and I'm just going to put these 4 different patterns of washi tape going up. Tabitha said, bye Alexis, have fun at Dad's.
I think Dad's here.
Is Dad's car outside? Is that his car? Well, what are you doing inside if Dad's outside? Aren't you supposed to be outside?
Going to get my bag.
Oh, going to get her bag. Ugh. That takes a long time to get out of the house. Sounds like she's found her shoes. Oh, teenagers. So this would be a good one if you had strips of those strips you cut off pattern paper, and we always keep and never use. Just trying to find the end of the washi tape. So washi tape is semi-transparent, so putting on this craft colour, it sort of dulls down the colour. If I was to put the washi tape on white cardstock, it'll obviously be a bit brighter in colour, but I wanted it to be duller.
Bye everyone.
Alexis says bye everyone.
Bye bunnies.
Oh, bye bunnies. Does Mum get a bye?
Bye mother.
Oh, I get a bye mother. That means I'm annoyed with you. See you later, Alexis. What am I doing? I'm doing music notes again. Ah, and she bangs the door. Oh, typical teenager. Alexis will be a teenager in December. God help me then. Is that when we send all kids to a different planet? I'm just going to fold the washi tape over the back because I'm going to trim some of it off. This one's a little short, but I'm going to trim a bit of it down, so that's fine. On this particular card, I originally was going to have this as the card base. I wasn't going to mount them, so bits of them weren't exactly straight across, but that sort of adds to the effect. And because it's on the craft, you don't really see it that much either. Well, what are we up to? We're up to cameras. So again, you could just use a plain sheet of pattern paper for this. It'd be a whole lot quicker, but I have a couple of these rolls of washi tape to use up. Was all the rage years ago. So now I'm just going to move all that out, bring my paper trimmer in and trim this down once again to be whatever size this one is. This one is, what's that, three, just over 3.5 by 4 3/4. So 4 3/4 this way. Just going to trim that top bit off so I don't have half, what did I say, 4 3/4. Just trying not to have half a piece of washi so it looks funny. So now I've got half cameras each side, which look top to bottom, which will look a bit better. What did I say? 3 and I can't remember. Just over 3 1/4. So that's 3 and 3 1/4 there. So I actually do want to take it off this side. Is that right? 3 1/4. I'm not good at cutting like this. I'm good at maths, but when it comes to maths and cutting, I think it's just too much for my brain to work out. And it's not the right size. How did that happen? See, I should not be made cards. That's all right. We're going to fix it. It'll work. We'll make it work. It's got to be 3.5. I'm definitely going to go look into buying those dies. Tabitha, I think it'll make my life so much easier. That's better. And then we've just got a gap down the bottom. That's all right. We're going to stick this on and we're going to cut the gap off. So just using flat double-sided tape. I could have put this up on foam tape, but I decided not to. These would be nice little cards to send out in the mail. So we have a couple of events coming up, or one event in October coming up. The 19th of October to the 25th. It's a 7-day Christmas event with Craft Alive, one of the in-person shows that we usually attend. That has been cancelled for COVID. So that is a Christmas spectacular. So for that week, from the 19th to the 26th, every day there will be a live that will be Christmas related. Don't ask me what they are, because I don't even know yet. I'm still making that up as I go along. No, I'm designing all sorts of fun stuff, some little gifty stuff and some cards and some art journal pages and scrapbook pages and all sorts of fun stuff for that event, so that will be fun. Yeah, saying heck yes to buying the dies, yes. I'm going up to my friend from a lot of the craft shows. Hillbilly Scrapping and I get together and do the craft shows together. I'm going to stick that on and then I'll cut it off. And she can order all that stuff for me, which is great. So I'm going to take up the codes and say, order me this. Hillbilly Scrapping has an awesome website and she sells a lot of the embossing powders I use. She has the tape, the double-sided tape, the Helmar 450 glue, and a huge bunch of scrapbooking stuff. So it's great to go and check her store out as well. We actually have a virtual retreat coming up in the end of November. I believe it's the second last weekend. I don't have the dates in my head yet for that one. The second last weekend in November, and basically a virtual retreat is it's a Facebook event for 3 days. We have some guest artists coming along, so it's $110 to join the virtual retreat. Within that $110, you get a lovely free gift. You get a choice of a class kit, and a class kit has either an instructional video or written instructions, so you can do the kit, and usually there's about 7 or 8 different kits to choose from. You get lucky draw prizes. We do lucky draws several times a day. What else do we do? We have loads of fun. We have a bunch of live demonstrations from guest artists that are unique to the group. So you won't see those live demonstrations anywhere else but in that Facebook group. They are lots of fun. It will be the third one we are doing. The last one was so much fun. So we've got Neve Bailey coming along. She's a YouTuber and art journaler. We've got Lucy, and I always pronounce her name wrong, Campanu, does a lot of watercolour stuff. Who else have we got? Oh, we've got Tanya Fuard. I wish people had names I could pronounce. She's doing a lot of mixed media, and there's another one. Oh, Michelle Grant is coming along as well, and there'll also be me. And Jen from Hillbilly Scrapping will be doing some scrapbooking related demonstrations as well. So that is loads of fun. Yes, the Craft Alive ones are so much fun, Elizabeth. I'm actually designing 7 classes. Craft Alive have a paid class subscription. It's $20 a month, and you get access to a huge amount of classes for that Christmas event. Your subscription goes for a month, but you have access to every other craft event. This is our 7th event for Craft Alive. You get access to all the previous 7 events classes to look at as well. So I'll be putting up 7 exclusive classes into that Craft Alive, too many C words. 7 exclusive classes into the Craft Alive classroom, but don't fear, if you don't subscribe, you'll see them anyway. You'll just see them a month later. So they must go in the classroom for a month exclusively for Craft Alive, and then I'm allowed to release them in whatever format I will. So that means in November I will have 7 videos that I can release of different Christmas crafty projects. So that'll be the middle of November to probably the end of November. I'll release those at some stage on YouTube and link to the Facebook group. So it's going to be a very busy month. And of course, when we do a Craft Alive event, we have things on sale. So just gluing down my chipboard piece to a scrap piece of black cardstock. So there'll also be sales on my website. There might be some giveaways on the Facebook page. You never know what happens. It's going to be a fun-filled week. So if I'm, excuse me, getting a croaky voice. So for this particular one, because I'm doing the inside of a frame, I will draw around it and then cut it out. If I'm going around the outside of a frame, I like to stick the chipboard to my piece of paper first and then cut around it, just because it's a bit easier. So I'm just going to eyeball it and, excuse my head if it gets in the way, and do probably a 2 to 3 millimeter circle all the way around. I love adding these sorts of shadows to my chipboard. It just makes them stand out. You could also, if you had a die the same shape, you could also use a die cut. I could also go to my machine and cut one that's perfectly round, but then you guys can't get the same effect, so we'll do it this way. Oops. Just trimming up a bit. That's all right. It's not going to be perfect, but that's okay. If you want a perfect handmade card, don't buy one of mine. No, I don't sell my perfect handmade cards. See how that border just makes the piece pop? If we had the washi tape showing through the face, it wouldn't look as good. So they're the same sort of card, but just with different faces on them, and they look really cool. So now we're just going to stick this down with our 450 glue again. So I am looking at keeping up with regular Facebook Lives. Obviously with the craft event over that week, there'll be a lot more of them. There'll hopefully be one a day. It depends. If I can squeeze 2 a day in, I will do that. The times and projects will go up on the Facebook page when I get around to working that out. If it's anything like today, it will be... Thanks, Carol. Not a problem. We're just about done anyway. I think I've talked too much today. I'll have to have a top fan on my little Facebook image for talking too much. Great thing about the lives is they're all recorded on Facebook, so you can go back and find them again under the videos link tab. And I do upload them to YouTube as well. So a couple of weeks after I do the live demo, I'll download them from Facebook and load them onto our YouTube channel. So they're a bit easy to find and search for as well. So that is just our quick demonstration of our cameo faces and frames that we have available now in our shop. We also have a custom made service as well. So if there's any particular designs you'd like made, you can request them. Say for example, I can't think off the top of my head what other person. Oh, a male. Oh, I just thought of something. If you wanted this one, or maybe not the fancy frame. Okay, I could do a plainer frame. If you wanted a male cameo to do some male cards in the same sort of format, you can message me and say, hey Mel, can you make the cameo frames but a male version of it? And I go, usually yes I can. I've actually just made some VR goggles and I've got heads wearing the VR goggle headset for someone. They'll be up on our site in October as well. So I can make just about anything. The only thing I can't do is trademarked items. So I can't make a silhouette of, for example, the Disney head with the ears, because that's a trademark image, and Disney can get quite nasty and sue you if you infringe on their trademark. I've heard of companies in America getting sued over that sort of copyright business. I know a lot of companies do it, but unfortunately that's my policy, is I don't do trademarked items or copyright items. I know other companies do. And that also goes for words as well. We can make any amount of words, just not... so I can't make the word, for example... What can't I make? Melbourne Football Club, for example. Because Melbourne Football Club is a trademarked or a registered name think it's a copyrighted name. It's one of the two. It's copymarked or trademarked. I can't actually make that whole word and sell it to you because that's their, I don't know, it gets confusing getting into all that confusing legal stuff. So don't hesitate to ask. In 12 years, I've nearly had my laser machine 12 years. In 12 years, I've only said no to a few different design things that people have asked for, mainly because it's the copyrighted, and that's very, very crooked. My camera must be sitting crooked. Because of the copyright and the infringement and things like that. So that's about me for today. So I just wanted to come on and do these quick little cards and show you a different way. So I could use this as an embellishment on my scrapbook page. I could use it in my art journal with, I like the white paper, the 400 GSM cardstock I use in my art journal a lot. So I could use the same sort of process and do, instead of the chipboard, use the white cardstock that we sell on the side as well, and use it in my art journal. So you can use it in so many different ways. Thank you very much for watching, and if you've got any questions or concerns, don't hesitate to pop a note on Facebook and I can get back to you within a day or two usually. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll pop some close-ups of these on the Facebook page so you can have a look at them as well. Bye for now. Thank you for watching.